So I have a client, we'll call her Tammy, and Tammy's come in twice this week and is frustrated at some of the process in her journey. And it brought up a larger issue that got me thinking and talking to our other therapist, Amy, and just wanting to really get to the heart of our healing journeys, right? Which are different for everybody. And she's struggling with prolapse, and yet she's able to stay really active. She's also proud of the fact that being in her early 60s, she hasn't had to have surgeries, isn't on a bunch of medications, is a lot more active than a lot of her friends. And so there's both this yearning to stay that way, a little bit of pride in it, self-admitted by her, and also then the frustration of wanting to just be better, right? And so we got talking about there isn't a lot in our world that really helps us with healthy beliefs around fitness and health and longevity. And that really, when we're looking for these long-term solutions, right, that we don't really have a good understanding of some very core foundational principles to the creation of the universe, right? So if we take it all the way back to use it or lose it, that's as universal as gravity. It applies to everything in our bodies. If we had organ systems that weren't being used every day, they would start to fail. Muscles start to atrophy. We know a lot of research about that, but it just doesn't seem to be part of our daily concept of healthy living. And that really concerns me, not just for our clients, but for myself. And we all have like strengths and weaknesses and pros and cons. Easy example, right? Some of you have heard me talk about CrossFit. I am addicted on multiple levels to CrossFit, fully drank all the Kool-Aid. Upsides of that, it helps keep me strong. It's definitely part of my sanity. It's an aspect of exercise I truly enjoy. I don't have to talk myself into going or dread it, or, well, most days, or any of those kinds of things. The downsides potentially, it sort of fuels that achiever, go-getter, driver in me, which is, of course, a big part of how I get things done. So it's not that that's negative, but I need to balance that with calmness and centering and grounding to be my best self for my family, for myself, for my work. And so everything has pros and cons, right? Again, reaping and sowing. I don't think we have a lot of concept of, especially when we're young, right? If we eat all the things and drink the sodas and party and booze and drugs and whatever else, we're going to reap the consequences of that later. And we don't like the word consequences, but our actions have consequences. And staying fit and doing CrossFit has consequences. I have to work on my tissue pliability. I have to make sure that when I'm sore from workouts or I feel a little bit of overuse problem coming on, that I make sure and take care of my body and make sure I'm healed and that I don't end up creating an actual injury as opposed to just navigating normal muscle soreness. Eating right, sleeping, all the things, right? And we can easily get overwhelmed and inundated with all of the wellness products out there. I don't want to talk about that. I really want to take it back to those core principles of use it or lose it, of sowing and reaping, of learning that we need to both be strong and mobile. We need to be active and learn how to rest well. So my natural tendencies are to be doing, going. So I have to spend a little more energy grounding, calming, learning to rest well, learning to grieve well. Some people might be more inherently, we could use the word introverted, and be really good at resting, be really good at calming down and relaxing. They might have to work more on the self-motivation to go and to do and to be active. We all have different aspects of that. And so I just really, it's come up a bunch of times this week with clients, so it's really been on my heart and mind. I don't know if you guys saw my live on Instagram, but I was a little crazy skiing last weekend, and I came home from that trip really just kind of taking inventory, like, am I hurt? Am I just a little sore? Grateful that I was able to go back to the gym Monday. Grateful that I wasn't seriously injured at all. Really counting my blessings and grateful that I always have had a passion and enjoyment of exercise. That's not something I've had to work hard at. And just grateful because I think that really saved me this past weekend. And so just taking stock of some of those things and wanting to help our clients and help people in general understand you don't arrive. They say you have a healing journey for a reason. You don't just, this particular client that wanted to get better from her prolapse and not have to have surgery and not have to have these issues, the conversation went more like, this is manageable. You can manage this and live a healthy, active life, likely without any surgery needed, but it's not just gonna go away. It's not just gonna fully resolve. It was too far along by the time she knew to get more care. And so that's sometimes the reality, and it's the choices, right? Could she go get surgery? Absolutely. Would that maybe give her a different outcome? Probably. Would it be a better outcome? That's the uncertainty of the choices that she's facing. And so just again, we all have choices. We all have our inherent tendencies and strengths, and all of those choices come with consequences. And just, I feel like we need to reframe. You guys have heard me use my phrase, changing the conversation. I feel like we need to change the conversation around health and longevity and what that's gonna require from us. You don't just have it handed to you. We all have to work for it.